How to grow your newsletter with LinkedIn in 2025. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down just how you can also grow your own newsletter with LinkedIn. So let's open up the notes. So for the past few weeks, I've been trying different things to grow my subscribers from LinkedIn. Right now, let me start by saying that growing a newsletter on any social platform is hard and it takes time, since those platforms don't want people to leave, right? So when you sign on to YouTube, LinkedIn, X, right, those platforms want you to stay as much as possible on those platforms so that they can show you a lot more ads. Right? And so when you post a link or like a call to action to get news to sign up to your newsletter, right? A lot of those social platforms are not a big fans of that. Right? So below is a screenshot of some stats from the past week, right? Just two subs, right? Not bad for 1 week or just starting out, right? As you see here, right, referral, right, two people only, right? And I want to share with you how I got those subscribers. That was just from last week. I had a couple weeks where I had like a couple more. But yeah, let's start with the tips to grow your newsy. Okay. The number one is share your share your share what you're already writing about, right? So you don't really need to change your content game, right, when you're posting on LinkedIn, right? So you could take one key idea, quote, or takeaway from your newsletter and turn it into a post. Right? Many newsletter creators, some of the big ones, right, do this, right? They write their newsletters and then they have like a week's worth of content that they can just pull from the newsletter, right? And that's all they do. They just reuse it, right? And end your post with like, I go deeper on this in my newsletter, link in the comment, right? Like here's an example of what you could do, right? So you post on LinkedIn, right? Then you post your newsletter here, right? That's just an example, right? It's the same thing, right? But like you get the point of what I'm trying to convey here, right? You could tease your followers also on LinkedIn, right? When you're doing that, well, here, right? But when you're posting here, you could like tease them, be like, learn like this 5 secrets, right, to grow on LinkedIn, right? Tomorrow, 9 a.m. when you sign up to my newsletter. Super simple, and a lot of people sign up, right? And then also consistency beats creativity here. So the more you share, the more visibility you get, right, on LinkedIn, right? So something to remember when you're posting a lot of on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn likes when you're posting content because there's not a lot of content right now on LinkedIn. So when you're posting, you're gonna get high engagement, and so LinkedIn's gonna push your content as well. Number two, tell stories and stats, right? So share what's working and what failed and what you've learned along the way, right? Again, you're sharing what you're building in public, right, with your newsletter, right? Share how many subscribers you've got, what's working, right? What's working and what's not working, what failed lessons, right? Maybe you launched an ad campaign. It's just maybe you forgot to add a pixel on your ad, right? And so that's a mistake, right? And then you can share about that, right? And people will like that because you're sharing everything that you're learning, right? Use storytelling to make people feel like they're part of your process, right, on LinkedIn, right? And then also the real stories eats up like will win every time versus right? Because people want to know more about you, right? The person, right? And so yeah, just putting a lot more stories will just help you stand out on LinkedIn instead of just posting like 10 ways to grow on LinkedIn. So yeah. Number three, comment like it's your job, right? So spend about 10 to 15 minutes a day on commenting on posts from creators in your space. Helpful tip is to comment before you post, right? So like 20 minutes or 30 minutes before you post on LinkedIn, just start commenting, right? But don't just say great posts. Add your own quick insights or perspective into the post, into the comments, right? I know I've been guilty of using like great posts or like, 100% or something like that. Like something short, right? I've been guilty of that, right? But yeah, if you really want to get high engagement, you want to like really comment something, like ask a question maybe on the comment, right? That usually works. Like it's super simple. You can add a question, okay? People will start noticing your name and checking out your profile, right? This is huge, right? Because if you're commenting a lot, right, on a certain person's post, right, they're gonna start to notice you, right? They're gonna start to reach out to you, start to want to connect with you because they're like saying, oh, okay, this person's actually like putting the work to like connect with me, right? So yeah, and then that's where they'll find your newsletter link, and so make sure it's there, right? So they're gonna check your profile, right? You want to make sure your newsletter link is in your profile when they visit you. Number five, the fourth, sorry, is use your profile as a landing page, right? So your banner should clearly say what your newsletter is about. Super simple, easy, right? Your headline should include a line like writing a weekly newsletter on topic, right? And then add your newsletter link in your future section, right? This is huge. Not many people do this, right? It's a great way to capture more, to tell people when they check out your profile what you want them to do next, right? And when people land on your profile, right, they should instantly know what to do next, and that's subscribe to your newsletter, right? You just want to capture their email. Number five, be consistent, right? So post about 3 to 5 times a week, right? If you can, starting out, like maybe once a week is all you can do, right? That's okay, right? As long as you're consistent, right? Twice, but if you want to get like high engagement, then like yeah, 3 to 5 times a week is what you should do. On a daily, right? And mention your newsletter, right? Again, example of what I'm talking about, right? So like this post, subscribe to my newsletter for more content like this here, right? And I post the link in the comment. Right? Super simple, easy. You could sign up to like platforms like Buffer or something that make it really easy to automatically add a second post to it, right? So yeah, you can use. There's a lot of tools out there that you can use to do that. And so if you have any newsletter questions, comment. If you have any newsletter questions, right, you can just comment below and I'll make a video about it. Right. So just comment down below any questions that you have about newsletters, right? Anything that's been bothering you, and I will make a video about it. See you guys in the next one. Peace.